Welcome, dear traveler, to an evening among the legends of Albion. Tonight we wander through the pages of Fable, where ancient tales whisper of heroes, magic, and mysteries long forgotten. Here, every story is a doorway to lands beyond, filled with wonder, courage, and secrets waiting to be discovered. Close your eyes, let your spirit drift, and allow these tales to weave their enchantment. For as long as Albion remembers, these stories endure, waiting to be told once more. And now, as the evening settles, let us begin. A love story. Ralph was a hero who fought bravely and well, but his face showed the scars of battle, and frankly, no woman would look at him. In his despair, he robbed the ancient trader barons of Greatwood and bought a house and a pile of presents to give out. Women fell at his feet, and eventually he chose a gorgeous one to marry. But too late. He realized that the type of female who's impressed by gifts and houses is too shallow to make a good bride. So, Ralph decapitated her and waved her lovely head about in triumph. And thus the phrase trophy wife was born. The Tale of Maxley. As everyone knows, hobs are stupid creatures. But every so often a clever one comes along. Maxley was one such hob, and tired of eating raw flesh and sleeping in streams, he left to seek his fortune in the world of humans. He murdered a nobleman and stole his clothes, dressed up and walked tall on the road to Bowerstone. When he arrived, people complimented him on his appearance. When he answered, his hob grunting gave him away. The guards killed Maxley and put his head on a spike. It is better to keep quiet and be thought an idiot than to open one's mouth and prove it. Creatures of Albion, Book 1. Nymphs. Nymphs are ethereal, yet dangerous creatures. There are 3 known types: the water nymph, the wood nymph, and the very powerful succubus nymph. All will be eager to send you to an early death if you stray across their path. Minions. Mindless, attacking animals bred by the Old Kingdom Wall Guards for attacking intruders. Minions are keen to rip the flesh of anything in their way. The only thing they fear are their masters and the bigger, more powerful minions known as Dreadwings. Scorpions. Born of the fires of ancient Bolwood, scorpions are armored beasts with evil hearts. Hushed voices tell of larger scorpions, bred in captivity for fighting. Screamers. Horrific entities caught in the netherworlds. Screamers have long struck fear into the population at night. They roam the land and are dangerous in their attacks. Creatures of Albion, Book 2. Wasps. The wasps have sting that more than match their size. They are aggressive and can kill if enough venom is injected into their foes. Their aerial antics make them tough to hit, and weary travelers should especially fear the Wasp Queen, leader of the Hive. Beetles. The beetles of Albion's woods are tough, dangerous foes when they attack en masse. Those skilled at weaponry are required to defeat them. Villagers, even armed, strong ones risk great harm if they take on a nest of beetles. Trolls. Born from beneath the ground of Albion, trolls are ancient, powerful beings. The earth trolls are single-minded and extremely dangerous. But the mighty rock trolls inspire awe and fear in all who behold them. Lumbering hulks they may be, but they make mighty foes and demand respect from even the most powerful of heroes. Undead. The undead are unthinking and impervious to what mortals consider pain. Wave upon wave will keep advancing until they overpower their victims. The only way to stop them is with extreme force. Creatures of Albion Book 3. Balverines, the wolf people of the forests. Balverines are strong, cunning, and fast. They are evil through and through. But especially so are the stronger, more cunning, white Balverines born of a full moon. These are said to be the result of those bitten who resisted the poison and instead of dying, became one with the clan. The Old Kingdom tells of silver weapons built especially to kill these white Balverines. Hobs, the underrace of the dells and hollows. The Hobs are short and squat half-people whose genetics are entwined with the mud and slime of the deep country. Often dim, but always aggressive, Hobs are led by tougher leaders. The brainiest can even learn to use spells, some say. Kraken. Albion is surrounded by 9 seas, and the Krakens rule them all. These aquatic creatures were here long before the kingdoms of old, yet few have ever seen one. And not even the most boastful heroes claim to have defeated a Kraken in combat. Dragon. What more can be said about these fiery creatures who owned the mountains? A race in decline. They were once revered, but now they are just an ancient, albeit powerful and dangerous relic of the Old Kingdom. The arena. Heroes left the guild and made their choices, good or evil, in Albion. But with the freedom to do as they choose, they often clashed. Sometimes they fought to the death. These bouts were often arranged in advance and people traveled from miles around to see them. Eventually, the arena was built, and the bouts became bigger and more spectacular. Creatures from across Albion were captured and brought there for heroes to kill. One rule remained from the olden days though. Should either combatant so choose, the battles could be to the death. The dragons. Many dragons lived in Albion, but the Old Kingdom huntsmen killed them for sport. The survivors fled to the mountains and the northern wastes, and over time they grew less powerful, and their fiery breath less dangerous. Without man, they had no natural enemies. But a dragon is a dragon, and to this day, when an Albion child has an accident in his underpants, it's known as seeing a dragon. Although sometimes it's just known as pooing yourself, you dirty little boy. The Northern Wastes. The 9 seas surround Albion, but to the north is the wasteland. Some say there's nothing, and others that it is Jack of Blade's true home. The old scribes say that it was once a mighty empire before the glaciers came. Libraries of arcane knowledge still exist beneath the ice, and those who once lived there sleep deeply beneath the cold blanket, ready to reawaken when the time comes and Albion is ruled again by one man. The Old Kingdom. Long ago, the Kingdom of Arkan ruled every corner of Albion. The world was peaceful and in perfect order, though many wondered if the force that held it all together was not corrupt. For Arkan had in his possession a sword of vast and mysterious power, and Albion's elders wrote of gradual changes overcoming their leader. These changes spread to the kingdom itself. Strange structures were erected around the world, and huge armored figures were seen guarding 4 hubs of energy and Arkan's castle itself. Every living thing was touched by the sword's influence, and soon foul creatures the world had never seen before darkened the people's lives. Yet no record exists of what caused the fall of the kingdom. So suddenly, so irrevocably, Arkan and the sword disappeared. But the darkness remained. The other land. During the Old Kingdom, people fled the hatred, the pain within Albion in their masses. Boats sped from the shores in every direction, and one group of emigrants pitched up in paradise. Warm seas, palm trees, and coral sands beckoned, and the inhabitants welcomed the visitors with food, comfort, and grace. But the people of Albion had head colds, and when they passed these on to the islanders, almost all of them died, and the Albion settlers, not knowing how to farm the weird fruits, catch fish, or hunt the wild pigs and chickens, died too. But the few islanders who survived buried the dead and rebuilt their paradise with new, impenetrable beach defenses. The Pale Balverine. There was an archer who believed he was the best in the land. He was also a lord, but had fallen out of favor with his people and had been imprisoned for lying. Determined to prove himself on his release, he set off to battle fearsome Balverines. He was bitten, but did not die. Instead, he changed and over time became a powerful, evil Balverine. Normal weapons hardly hurt him, so thick was his skin. But he had encountered on a red-robed woman's solid silver arrow of truth, which pierced him and killed him. Heroes, good or evil, need self-discipline, and Twinblade, a young, powerful swordsman, was no different. After graduation, he stopped taking quests at the guild when he realized he could take what he wanted from anyone. His love of gold and growing resentment of other heroes drove him to live in the woods as a thief. His strength and ruthlessness led him to face and kill other bandit clan leaders, and he united the forest clans and became king of the bandits. But deep inside, Twinblade never lost the code of honor and respect the guild had instilled in him. Jack of Blades. He is known by no one, and he is known by all. He is said to be as ancient as the Old Kingdom, and yet he has the strength of 10 heroes. Some say he is not of this world, and has come to us only for the pleasure of death and destruction. Some say he is but a legend, and the mask has covered the faces of dozens over the centuries, all claiming to be the same Jack of Blades. Whatever he is, he prevails in stories and in nightmares, and he is feared even by the guild. Making friends. Among the gems of wisdom contained in this book are these. It is generally considered ill-mannered to hit people. Albion is a materialistic place. Shower people with gifts and they'll love you for it. And performing good deeds will make everyone appreciate you much more. Eyes of a Killer. This handbook gives some tips on making yourself scarier to other people. Performing acts of great evil, having certain tattoos applied to your body, and mastering a really nasty laugh are all considered winners. The Guild of Zeros. This satirical pamphlet purports to be a journal of a zero in training, and is a thinly veiled attack on the guild, the self-claimed superiority of its members, and the cult of celebrity that surrounds them. The author disappeared shortly after its publication. The Repentant Alchemist. This is a play by Philip Morley, Albion's most celebrated dramatist. It is a story of a Bowerstone innkeeper who discovers his wife is cheating on him with every man in the town. As revenge, he concocts a new ale with the peculiar properties of making anyone who drinks it die horribly if they should have indulged relations with the innkeeper's unfaithful wife. He soon finds himself without any living customers and decides to partake with his malevolent beverage himself. Windbreaker Rulebook. This guide to making yourself obnoxious includes the following tips. Learn to swear and do it whenever you please. hit people for no reason at all, and break wind with wild abandon. You are not a bad person. Originally written to help reform bandits and serial killers to become accepted members of society, this book teaches you how to appear less scary to impressionable villagers. It seems not waving your weapons about, avoiding dark clothes and evil-looking tattoos, and letting out the odd giggle all work a treat. The Oakvale Raid. Written by one of the few survivors, this is a harrowing account of the night Oakvale was burnt to the ground in the most savage bandit raid in Albion's recorded history. Despite the honesty of the author's grief, the book raised some controversy by refuting the established theory that laid the blame on the bandits of the Twin Blade clan, and suggesting that the feared Jack of Blades masterminded the attack. The Sock Method. Subtitled How to Make Yourself Sexier in 10 Days. This guide advises its readers to master really heroic poses, learn to flirt, wear stylish clothes, and avoid bad haircuts. The Trials of Arkan. This epic poem was once taught in every school, but its themes were regurgitated so often by lesser verse makers, it lost all its power and is now virtually forgotten. It tells the story of a young boy whose village is destroyed by a band of savages. Orphaned, he is taken in by an old warrior who teaches him the ways of the sword. As a grown man, he slays an ancient evil and restores order to his world. The Ugly Guide. Though admittedly writing for a small market, the author of this manual has many handy tips on making yourself less attractive. Among the chief ideas are eating plenty of fattening pies, releasing that uncomfortable buildup of bowel gases, and making rude gestures to your would-be admirers. The Balverine Slayer. This book is a worshipful, some say exaggerated, history of Knothole Glade's most famous Balverine slayer, Scarlet Robe. It tells the story of her first encounter with one of the beasts, at the tender age of 15, when she astounded Knothole Glade's elder warriors by killing a particularly fierce Balverine using only a piece of wood. It goes on to give a detailed account of her stay with the Heroes Guild, her pivotal role in the Great Balverine Extermination Battle, and her triumph in the arena. The Tailor's Tragedy. This is a play by Philip Morley, Albion's most celebrated dramatist. The title's tailor is a young man from faraway lands who washes up on the shores of Oakvale after the merchant ship he is traveling on is torn apart by storms. Thanks to the generosity of the townspeople, he is able to open a store, and the outlandish style of his suits and dresses soon make him a success. He eventually marries a beautiful girl and dies a happy old man surrounded by his loving children. The title is thought to be a misprint. And thus, dear traveler, we reach the end of tonight's journey through Albion's timeless tales. These stories, woven from the very spirit of Fable, remain forever in the heart of Albion, waiting to inspire and guide those who seek them. May their echoes linger with you, a reminder of heroes past, creatures unknown, and realms yet to be explored. As you drift into slumber, carry these tales with you, secrets of Albion tucked safely in your dreams. Until we meet again, may the magic of Fable keep watch over your rest. Good night, and may your dreams be as boundless as Albion itself.